broadcasting worldwide from the Ashby Real Estate Broadcast Studio. This is HIP Radio Network, Georgetown, your hometown station.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The switch is on. Welcome to Good Morning Georgetown with Rob and Ken. Waking you up in the mornings and getting your day started with the hottest hits, news, and jokes. Get ready. And now here's your hosts, Rob Hip and Ken Covington.
Hey, good morning, Georgetown. I got a friend right here next to me. He's virtually here with me this morning. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm thankful that you're waking up with us here on Good Morning Georgetown. And we're looking forward to another great day, another great show. Just going to let the music play through. That's the first time I ever did that. Let the music play completely through on the intro. Lee Ortiz joining us. What's up, Lee? How you doing, man?
Morning, Rob. How you doing?
Man, I'm blessed better than I deserve, brother. I'm glad that you're joining me. We have to do everything remotely. It's like, look, I'm trying to figure out how I can make it look like on the actual video that folks on Facebook are seeing. I've got you up in my, well, I guess to their right corner. I'm looking to my left, so I'm actually looking up at you, Lee, virtually, staring into space, and then there you are right there on my screen.
Super tech.
Well, hey, man, I appreciate you being on the show this morning. You're normally our Friday guest host, but we're trying to adhere to the orders, and we don't want to, even though media here's the thing, Lee. It's almost like everything falls into necessary business because I haven't been out of the house now, I think, in 3 days, man. But from what I'm seeing, people are telling me that there's people everywhere still. So what does it matter?
Oh, yeah. Golf courses are full. People are getting outside. People are just doing their own thing. Did you see Barton Creek? It was jam-packed.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that here in a little bit, and my thoughts on that. But we had Dr. Wynn on the show earlier this week, and, folks, it's time to start taking things pretty serious with what's going on. And, I posted some comments on Facebook. I don't get into debates. I just post information. If people want to debate amongst themselves, they can go right at it. I don't do that. So – but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Lee Ortiz joining us from Climate Control Pros. When you need a, well, how does it go, Lee? You've got a motto, man.
I'm gonna get you to learn this soon. It's when you need an AC pro, call your bro at Climate Control Pros.
I like it, man. Well, Lee was out here helping me. Appreciate him helping out here at my house. Unfortunately, my unit's toast, man. So Lee's gonna get me hooked up and get it taken care of. So I appreciate that, man. And it's about to start getting hot, and air conditioning is a necessity. So if you got air conditioning problems, call Lee Ortiz. Climate Control Pros TX.com is the way to do it. But Lee, you're with me every Friday now, man. And of course, you were in studio. Man, my ears are popping this morning. I feel like I'm on an airplane, dude. It's all the allergies. You were on. You're our new Friday co-host, and you were with me in studio last Friday. How's your week been, man? What's going on?
Actually surprising, a little bit busy. I've been doing, service work here and there. Just trying to keep my head above water, man, just like everybody else. I'm just trying to go through the motions and keep a positive spirit up.
Hey, I like that hat that you're wearing, by the way. If there's any Aggie fans out there on Facebook Live, send us a gig 'em. If you're listening on the HIP Radio Network app, by the way, you can text us. We want to hear from folks this morning, and we've already got a few that are on the app. We've got quite a few on the Facebook live stream. We'll go over those here in a little bit. But I wanted to say, if you're out there listening on the app this morning, send us a text message. Man, I love getting text messages, Lee, because it's like Christmas whenever those text messages come in. And you can text us at 512-686-2030. Again, that number's 512-686-2030. Let me know where you're listening from this morning, and I would love to hear from you. We're going to have fun this morning. Of course, Lee joining us here right now, and then coming up around the 8 a.m. hour. So where are we at? About 30 minutes away or so. we'll have Mandy Murphy and Chris McDonald of A-1 Smartphone and Tablet Repair talking about how their business is holding up. Lee, you're in the AC service business. Through all of this, and I wanted to ask you as a business owner, through all of this, what have been some of the challenges that you've faced so far?
To be honest with you, one of the biggest challenges we're facing is getting material. Before, we can just walk into our vendors and pick up what we need and leave. Now you're having to stand in line just like at H-E-B and everywhere else, and they're having to cater to you at a window or something on them lines. So it makes it a little bit challenging and more time-consuming.
So how's the toilet paper situation going for you, Lee? I needed to ask you that. How's the TP doing?
Oh, man, again, talking to a prepper here, I was ready a long time ago.
Well, man, hey, have you seen now? I saw these on Amazon, Lee. There was these little cubes that you can buy. They're these toilet paper cubes, and I don't know how they work. I guess you put them in water, which kind of defeats the purpose, but basically they're expanding toilet paper cubes. Have you heard of this stuff, man?
I've got some in my truck.
Really? How do they work?
It's just basically it's paper that they pulled all the moisture out of it, and so once you put like a couple of drops of water, it expands, and then it's moist, so you can use it, and they work fantastic.
Expandable toilet paper. That is where we're at right now here in America. Due to the COVID-19, it's expandable toilet paper. We'll have to figure out where. Maybe I can provide a link to that, Lee, where you can buy that stuff at, man. Well, hey, Lee Ortiz joining us. I want to welcome everybody in this morning to Good Morning Georgetown. All of you on Facebook Live, good morning to you. We'll go ahead and do our Facebook Live shout-outs here this morning, as we've got quite a few folks join us. Vanessa Rhines, good morning to you. I hope that Willie is doing okay today. Miss Julie London. Julie, I'm not sure, Julie, if you still work. You were at Last Call in Pflugerville, if I'm not mistaken. And if you're still on the stream this morning, I would love to hear from you just on a chat if you don't mind. Working, in the bar industry, it's got to be tough because I know the bars are closed down right now. Jim Thorpe's a buddy of mine, and he's been closed down because of all of this. And I saw the other day, Lee, as a bar owner, Lee, that Jim is actually working on opening up like an automotive paint detailing shop now. So people are making changes, to cope with all of this.
Yeah, well, think about the other business I own with John Montgomery, and we have some other partners, the Georgetown Poker Room. We're completely shut down. Man,
that is tough, going through that right now. And really, Lee, I don't know if there's going to be, to be honest, I don't think that things are – I was reading some reports. I've been doing a lot of research on this, and I don't think that things are really going to improve much. Not to spread fear, but I don't think that things are going to improve much. I don't even think we've hit our peak yet. And one is because people aren't listening to the stay-at-home orders. And secondly, there's so many people here in the United States, and I keep hearing all these stories about, well, we don't live in New York, we don't have to worry. Well, New York's the new epicenter. The World Health Organization has now said the United States is going to become the pandemic epicenter. It's a serious situation, Lee. People have got to start listening.
Well, they do, but I don't know if you caught that a lot of people in New Orleans are getting because they just recently had Mardi Gras right before all this hit.
Man. And that's the issue is this illness. And I know everybody, look, a lot of folks are probably tired of hearing about it. We're going to keep talking about it because it's big news, and it affects you. It affects me. It affects Lee. I like that, man. It affects you. It affects me. It affects Lee. It affects everybody. We got to have fun, Lee. But the seriousness to it is –
we got to keep our spirits up.
Do what?
We got to keep our spirits up.
Yeah, we got to keep our spirits up. But, the reality is 1,000 people now in the United States have passed away from this illness. I don't know the exact numbers. I know that New York had skyrocketed over to 30,000 cases now. The issue is, and you just talked about this earlier, Lee, was that there's people – this illness can have an incubation period – of up to 14 to, in some cases, 18-plus days. And so you could walk around and carry it and not know that you have it, and then you're touching other people, and that's why the social distancing is so important. Of course, on social media, everybody has now become a medical expert overnight because of the internet. And I'll be honest, man. Up until a week and a half ago, I didn't think too big of a deal of it. But after I had Dr. Wynn on the show and talked to him and had an expert in the medical field that knows what they're talking about, that's actually lost 2 of his colleagues from what he said on the show that have perished from this, it's a pretty serious deal, man. And in Italy, I hate to say this, there has now been 2 confirmed cases of nurses that have taken their own life because of the stress and what they have seen in Italy there with what is happening. It's a very tragic situation, Lee, and unfortunately I don't think we're going to turn around here. I don't think it's going to peak. And again, according to the World Health Organization, it may be another 2 to 3 weeks before this thing peaks here in the United States.
Well, I mean, the sooner this thing gets done and over with, the happier people are going to be. I just hope with the summer heat coming, it acts like any other flu and dies off. So that's kind of my prayer.
We have other friends joining us this morning. Carol Hardy joining us. Good morning to you, Carol. Also, Charity Thomas and Eric Nielsen. Good morning to you, Eric. Thanks for joining us. Wayne Williams, what's up, my man? Saying keep up the good work. You keep up the good work, Wayne. Wayne, I've known him since high school and just an outstanding young man. In fact, ran into him a couple of weeks ago as he was out walking with his son, and just good to see from you this morning, Wayne. Debbie Furtado joining us. Jonathan Dade joining us. Good morning, Jonathan. Shane Christopher. We had Jonathan on the show, by the way. He's running alongside Georgetown Mayor. Those elections have now got pushed back, according to the city of Georgetown. The May 2nd election has now got pushed back. That's not going to take place on the 2nd, but we had Jonathan Dade alongside Josh Schrader here on the show. Shane Christopher, good morning to you. Terry Swetch joining us. I'll be talking to you, Terry, I think around 10 a.m. this morning. Bubba Vadir joining us. Michael Price, good morning to you, Michael. By the way, your wife sent in a song request last night at 1:30 in the morning. I'm going to talk about that here in a little bit, Lee. We got something fun that's going to be happening later this evening here on HRN. Sasha Tingle joining us. Good morning to you. Joshua Harris of the Oak Ridge Disciple House. Good morning to you. Laura Benner, good morning. Lyjan Wilson saying happy Friday. Good morning to you, Lyjan. Petey Doris all the way in the Carolinas. Hope you're doing okay today. Miss Crystal Elsie, happy belated birthday to you. I think it was your birthday just here a week or so ago, Crystal. If it was and I've messed up, I'm sorry, but happy belated birthday. You know, you can always get away with that, Lee, by saying happy belated birthday to anybody, because even if your birthday was like, does it pass if your birthday was 6 months ago and you say happy belated birthday? Does that still work?
Sure, because you're still acknowledging them, so why not?
Oh, man. I've got a story. And it went like this, Lee. It was whoosh right through my head. I thought I knew where I was going with it. I dropped it, man. Kyle Hepp over at Program Insurance Group joining us. Appreciate you, Kyle, one of our founding sponsors here on HRN, on Hip Radio Network. By the way, Doug Groves, the owner of Program Insurance Group, he's going to be on Good Morning Georgetown on Monday. Mandy Murphy joined. Good morning, Mandy. You guys got up. I know that Mandy said, look, I'm not a morning person. She's going to be on the show at 8 a.m., and she said, I'm not a morning person. Mandy, the great news for you, and to make you feel a little more comfortable, I'm not a morning person either. So it works out great. David Holland, good morning to you.
Mandy and her husband, they do phone repair, correct?
Yeah, they have A-1 smartphone and tablet repair here in Georgetown, yeah.
Cool.
So we're going to
Looking forward to talking with her.
Yeah, we're going to have them on their business now, just still trying to keep things open, and they're going to talk about what they're doing during this pandemic. Sean Gabriel, thanks for joining us this morning. We got a few more. Charles Foreman, Mr. Chad Jackson of Chad Jackson Gospel, who was on the show yesterday. Good morning to you, Chad. Appreciate your smile, man. And then last but certainly not least, on that Facebook live stream this morning, Mr. Chris Courtney of Courtney Home Inspections, also one of our founding sponsors here on Hip Radio Network. Good morning to you, Chris. I hope things are going well for you, and I hope everything is going good. Man, if you got a moment, type in the chat box there on Facebook just how things are going for you and your business, man. I don't know if it's slowed down as a home inspector, but we'd like to hear from you as well. So we got Lee Ortiz here as our Friday co-host here on HR. Lee, talk about behind you, man. You got some bows on the wall, and I wanted to talk to you about that this morning, man.
Yeah, those are part of the those are recurve bows that we use for our competition. We shoot recurve and compound bows with the Hill Country Bow Association, and everything that we do is catered toward teaching young kids about archery and outdoors and respecting nature. And yes, we do hunt, but we just don't go out there and slaughter everything. We teach everything about why we hunt, about culling the herds and stuff like that. So these are some of the competition bows that I use, that myself. I've got one up here, and then my 3 boys have theirs. This one down here at the very bottom, that's a 1965 bow that had I got restrung and shoots wonderfully.
That's cool, man. We'll talk more about this Hill Country Bow Association. You talked about it a little bit last week, if I'm not mistaken, when you were on the show, but talk a little bit more about what you guys do and kind of the interaction that you have with young people and how you're helping them, Lee.
So what we're doing is we teach kids is basically the ethic of hard work. So throughout the season, we do these once a month. It's a 3D shoot. And so the kids come out and help set up all the targets throughout the property. And then they help clean up the property throughout the weekend, and then on Sundays we tear everything down. Well, as the kids work, they earn points. Now they have to earn 10 points, and at the end of that 10 points for the season, the association, we pay for them to go out on a guided hunt. And we go to Arrowhead Ranch out in Lakeview, Texas, and it's about a 1,200-acre ranch, and it's all exotic animals. And we had quite a few kids this last season kill out. My son killed his first black buck deer this year. My 2 older boys killed some red stags this year. So my oldest, he started doing this we started doing it when I think he was 13, and he killed a large oryx at the age of 14. So it is an amazing program, and the kids learn that through this hard work, there is a reward for it, and it's awesome.
Man, that is some great thing. And what is the age group this is open up to for kids?
So normally we like to try to have the kids where they can start hunting probably about the age of 7, and you can go all the way through the age of 18. So once you hit 18, you're no longer considered a kid. So now you can get onto the board, help serve. You can do anything with the association. Like my son, before the accident, he was actually going to try out for the Texas A&M archery team, but he said he'll try out next season, get on the archery team. He's really good. He's actually Robin Hooded probably about a half a dozen arrows, even in competition.
You had an arrow a while ago, didn't you? Can you show that on the screen? You had one earlier. Do you still have that close to you? I've always wanted, I had a crossbow. I actually sold my crossbow to Doug Groves over at Program Insurance Group, man. And now I'm kind of missing it because that thing was pretty sweet.
So this is one of the arrows that I use for the recurve bows behind me. It's the longer fletching, as you can see right here. So I use these. Now for hunting, I'll use one of these arrows. So if you can see the fletching on this, you see how it's like a little cap?
Yeah, I see that. I've never seen that before.
Well, what these do is once you hit your target, these actually drop. This little section right here actually drops off to give you a starting point where you hit that animal. So I use some of these during hunting. I'll use these during competition. So, and I've got several other different types of arrows. So it's a fantastic sport. It's definitely more challenging than using a normal rifle or using a rifle for hunting. So it definitely gives you some motivation to get better. So
whenever I bought my crossbow, out here where I live in Santa Loma, just outside of Serenata, the guy behind me has about 14 acres. We're on about 3/4 of an acre, and I just love the greenery around here. In fact, I'm working during this whole COVID-19 stay home, stay safe orders. I'm working remotely out of the home studio that's next to my house. And I positioned this building when I got it. We converted this into the studio about a year ago. Before then, it was, how they have the she shed that you hear about on, the joke about the she shed. It started with the insurance commercial. Mine was a hoarding shed. I had this mental problem, and I'm going to be honest, Lee, this is straight up honest. I had this mental problem to where I just could not throw away anything or even recycle. I didn't throw a lot of it away. I recycled it when I finally got rid of it. I had this problem where I couldn't get rid of electronics. I had no idea why. Anything with a wire or a circuit board or a knob, any of that kind of stuff, I literally had this mental problem to where I just could not get rid of it because I saw value in every single component in the electronics world, man.
I know people like that in my industry. I mean, you can sell the old coils and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden it gets overwhelming sometimes.
Well, this shed out here, it's like a 48. Actually, I think it's 45 feet by 12 feet, and then the last 6 feet of it, when I got it, I put a wall up in the back, and then I blocked that off and turned that into a storage shed, and so the rest of it is the studio. But I mean, you couldn't even walk in this place for a while, and it wasn't finished out yet. You know, when you buy these cabins, they're not finished. It's just the shell, and it has lofts in it. Those lofts weren't finished either, and it was piled to the roof with electronic equipment. And finally, thank goodness for my fiance, because she kind of got me motivated to start picking up a few things. And when I sold my computer business, I said, it'd be cool to have an actual area to be able to work out of, to tinker with stuff, and to kind of have a little bit of an office maybe outside of the house. And that's what really started the motivation. And again, thank Bridget for that, getting me motivated to kind of pick up stuff. And so I cleaned everything out of here. And dude, I'm not making this up, Lee. I had some emotional problems getting rid of all that stuff, man.
Pack rat syndrome.
Yeah, I literally had some emotional problems, dude. And finally got rid of, most of it. I've still got a little bit, but I got rid of most of that electronic stuff, and I realized I never needed it. And someone helped me to understand, it's like, if you haven't touched stuff in a year, get rid of it. Somebody had said, if you haven't touched the things in 3 months, get rid of it. Now, I can't do that, man. I can't do the 3 month, but the year I can do that.
My wife tells me I do the same thing, and then all of a sudden I'll get into this mood, drag in the dumpsters because everything's getting thrown away. Because once I get into that mode of I want to straighten things back out again, everything is getting reconciled in file 13.
Lee, I'm going to ask you a personal question. Do you have any emotional attachment to anything like I had a problem with? No answer.
Yeah, but for a different show.
I got you, man. I'm trying to get you back here. For some reason, your video just timed out on me. So I don't know why I can still hear you on the audio, but your video went away. I don't know if maybe your internet connection at home dropped or not. We've got you on the audio part from your phone. You can still hear us, can't you, Lee?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, maybe on the Zoom. Don't hang up your phone, but maybe on the Zoom program, go ahead and end the meeting and then rejoin it, and maybe that'll fix it. Because I see you disconnected there. Anyways, we got Lee Ortiz on, and we'll bring him back here on video in just a minute. We've got some news that we want to go over this morning. This news from the New York, I believe, this is coming from the New York Times this morning. I'm going to put on my glasses so I can see. Representatives today expected to pass a $2 trillion economic stabilization package in response to the coronavirus pandemic, already unanimously approved by Senate. The vote comes a day after the U.S. became the world leader in recorded infections now of COVID-19. Over 85,000 infected here in the United States. 1,200 people have passed away now. And whenever I saw those numbers yesterday, Lee, it only said 1,000 had passed. And so we're already up in those numbers today as well. Unfortunately, things may not slow too much. Many experts, including some information from the World Health Organization, saying that we may not have the peak of this until the next 2 or 3 weeks, and we still don't have any news yet officially on schools and things of that nature that are going to continue. In other developments, President Trump saying that he planned to label different areas as high risk, medium risk, or low risk as part of guidelines to help states determine quarantine and distancing measures. He also reiterated his desire to start opening up parts of the country soon. A White House deal with the private sector for 80,000 ventilators was up in the air as the government considered the $1 billion price tag. Lee, I got to tell you, man, we're in the wrong business. If you're in the air ventilator and toilet paper and hand sanitizer business, you're probably doing pretty well right now.
Well, did you see where some of the local distilleries now are making hand sanitizer?
Yeah, I saw that. And yesterday on the show, I had mentioned a person that I know who manufactures e-cigarette products, or the vape cigarette products. They've actually turned their equipment now to manufacturing hand sanitizer. So different industries are stepping up right now, trying to get that figured out.
There was There was also a manufacturer in New York that was on early this morning. He does custom shirts. He just retooled his whole deal and has started manufacturing masks. I mean, they're in New York, so they're just producing them as fast as they can now.
Hey, I was going to ask, Lee, did it allow you to reconnect back on the webcam?
No, it's not. It actually keeps saying site is unavailable.
That's where your laptop probably lost internet connection somehow, man. So
you know what? It sure did.
Yeah, I'm glad that we got
Let
you
me
on.
read.
I'm glad that we got you on the phone. Let me ask you a question. Are you on Suddenlink Internet?
It's actually AT&T.
Oh man, see Georgetown. That's what I'm talking about. A lot of people get upset about Suddenlink here in Georgetown, and Lee is on AT&T and he's having problems this morning. So there you go, Lee. It's not, you can't just blame Suddenlink all the time. Are you in Georgetown, Lee? Where do you live, man?
I'm actually right here on the outskirts, just on the edge of Leander. I live right here on Crystal Falls and Ronald Reagan area. So
you're living on the edge, man. Lee Ortiz.
Living on the edge.
Lee Ortiz on the phone this morning. We had him on webcam earlier. You know what happened probably? Facebook probably saw those. It's a conspiracy. It probably saw those arrows, and it was like, oh, we got to ban that content, and it just knocked us off. That's probably
a bunch of touchy.
That's probably what happened. You know what? It's funny. The other day, I had my friend on our show, Jean-Luc Williams, joining us. He lives in Colorado. He was talking about just the impacts of coronavirus a week ago in Colorado. I kid you not. I don't think you were on that show because that was the one I was doing from the studio. Maybe. No, you weren't on that show, Lee.
No, but I was watching. I saw when y'all lost that feed.
He started talking about President Trump, and I kid you not, as soon as he mentioned President Trump, the feed completely went out, and I could not reconnect to Facebook for a minute or two. And so you know that they're out there listening, man. So
yeah, I just saw this. I just read this morning where somebody on Facebook wasn't to address to anybody in particular, but made threatening remarks towards the Speaker of the House and the Democrats, and the FBI arrested him.
Yeah, well, when you make threatening remarks, that's a little bit different, but it does show you though that Big Brother's always listening. So if you're out there listening this morning, Facebook, good morning to you from Georgetown, Texas. We hope you're doing okay today, man.
Yeah.
Well, Lee's continuing to working on getting his internet connection back up. Thanks to everybody for joining us here on Good Morning Georgetown. Time now 7:57 a.m. as we're bringing you some of the latest in the United States here this morning. Other friends also joining us on Facebook Live. Want to say a special hello this morning to Miss Carrie Clark-McComb. Thank you for joining us of the Power of Four team. Appreciate you and everyone associated with you guys. One of our sponsors here on HRN Georgetown as well. So, again, Carrie, good morning to you, and I hope that you're doing okay. Please tell Miss Paula Brent I said hello, Angie, as well as the rest of you wonderful ladies there at the Power of Four team, and appreciate your sponsorship. Sabrina Bryant joining us over at Roberts Printing. And I wanted to ask Sabrina, I think John Montgomery's also joining us, how is that affecting you guys in the printing industry? Roberts Printing, one of our sponsors here as well. We're working, Lee, we are working on a pretty sweet – Bridget was kind of giving me a hard time about it, which is okay. But we are working on this really sweet, what do you call it, like a vinyl wrap for my car, for my Kia, man. So the Kia is going to be wrapped with HRN gear.
Are you gonna change the color, go to the blue and black like your logo?
Yeah, it's gonna be wrapped completely kind of in that Starburst logo, and appreciate Roberts Printing working with them on that and getting that set up, and that's gonna be pretty sweet, man.
There, it should be back now.
Yeah, I got you back on. We got Lee back on. John Montgomery, good morning to you. He is joining us. Appreciate you, John. Misty Harvick, my beautiful fiance Bridget, good morning to you, sweetheart. Brenda Harrelson. Brenda, good morning to you. Are you still up in Gerald, Brenda? If you are, I hope things are going good up there in your neck of the woods. Wally Harmon, good morning to you. John Montgomery telling us a while ago, saying, Lee, that they are doing labels for the bottles. That's awesome. See, that's exactly what I was talking about a while ago. So my buddy Justin is the one that's doing the hand sanitizer. They have a company called Create-A-Sig, and they have turned their vape company into manufacturing hand sanitizer. John said that they are doing the labels on those bottles. That's pretty sweet. Good morning to
That is awesome.
Shelly Roddicker joining us. Good morning to you, Shelly. Glad everything with you is going good. Justin Jacobs over at Grand Endeavor Homes joining us. Kim Stout and Christy Mouton also. Good morning to you, Christy. Appreciate Christy joining us as well. John saying that 95% of their clients and businesses, and a lot of them are closed, they decided to close as well, but they're available and working for our clients that need emergency services in the printing industry. And so appreciate John and all the fine work that they do there at Roberts Printing. You've known John a long time, man. He's in your B&I group, too.
Yeah, for a couple of years. And so, yeah, he's fantastic. You know, he's one of the strongest members of the Georgetown community. And the guy he'd give you the shirt off his back if you needed it.
Well, Lee, as we continue here this morning, I wanted to ask you briefly kind of your thoughts on this stay home, stay safe order. You know, a lot of people have different opinions and different ideas on it. The biggest argument that I've heard so far is, you know, the swine flu has affected more Americans than this COVID-19. I think it was 68 million Americans. But if you look at the mortality rate with the swine flu, it was like 0.0001. We're talking about an illness here in the United States, and this is why it's so serious. And we've had a medical expert on this show just a few days ago. The reason that this is so serious and why all of these orders are being taken, it's not a conspiracy or the government is trying to keep people safe, to be honest, is because this illness has a little bit over a 1% death rate, a mortality rate, and it's very serious because of the incubation period and the way that works. Kind of what are some of your thoughts on that, Lee? Because you know, again, still, some folks aren't taking it serious, and I don't get into arguing debates on social media because it's ridiculous. And it's funny because in real life, most of those people won't even talk about that or debate with you anyways. But it's so easy to sit behind a keyboard and talk. What are your thoughts, you know, on all this, Lee?
Yeah, I mean, to me, I just feel like there's a disconnect between, like, the area of New York, which is obviously, I mean, they're going through a lot right now. And then you have areas of the country that are not even having but maybe one or two cases, and life goes on as usual, you know. And so I think there's a real disconnect where people are saying, well, there's nothing going on in my community, so I'm going to go do what I want. And you're seeing that here in Austin, the Austin area. You saw people out on golf courses, which I don't think that's really a big deal. You're spread out anyway. But you saw a lot of people like at Barton Creek, and they're packed together, and they're just not heeding the warning that some of the doctors are telling them. Say, look, if you don't follow these orders, it's going to get bad. I mean, you can look at the possibility of Austin being the next New York if that happens. You're already seeing it in New Orleans. Like I was saying, I think they had talked about because they had just had Mardi Gras. So you had over 1 million people in New Orleans, and they fanned out all over the country. That's, you know, so my heart definitely goes out to the people on the East Coast that are dealing with this because it's horrifying.
I was going to ask you, Lee, is there any, you know, and of course don't give away names or anything, but have you came across anybody yet that has been affected by this that you happen to know of personally or through the internet or you know, any of that kind of thing, Lee?
No, nobody personally. Right off the bat, I will tell you this, that my sister and my brother-in-law, they live in Boston, and they've been in lockdown for a while now. So they're just, you know, they've got my two little nieces up there. So I hope they stay safe. And I pray for anybody who has it. God Almighty. I mean, I wouldn't wish this upon anybody.
Well, as we continue to talk to Lee Ortiz this morning, our guest host or our co-host, we have a guest host coming on here in just a few minutes, Mandy Murphy over at A-1 Smartphone and Tablet Repair. We'll try to make sure that we bring her in here in just a moment. Time now is 8:04 a.m. We're going to talk more about local businesses here in Georgetown. We'll also talk about some ideas that we're working on here at Hip Radio Network. And I wanted to mention, by the way, if you haven't already subscribed to our email list, make sure that you do that. I'll have information on that, how you can get more involved with what we're doing here at HRN, and something that we're doing right now to help out businesses in our community. So make sure to keep it tuned in. We're going to step aside and take a break. Again, time now 8:04 a.m. When we come back, we'll talk more about Georgetown local businesses and how they are coping in getting through this COVID-19 pandemic. Stay with us, friends. This is KHGT-DB Georgetown, your hometown station. We'll be right back here in just a few moments.
USA Radio News with Chris Barnes.
A $2 trillion coronavirus economic relief package is halfway home as the U.S. Senate gave it unanimous approval late yesterday, and the U.S. House is expected to give it final approval tomorrow. A record 3.3 million Americans filed first-time claims for unemployment benefits last week as the virus was starting to shut down much of the nation's economy. To put it in perspective, in recent years, the average number of first-time filers in a given week would hover around 200,000. The Fed chief Jerome Powell says the economy's taking a hit, but it will be coming back.
I think many expect, and I would expect the economic activity to resume and move back up in the second half of the year.
He was speaking on NBC's Today Show. Researchers at Johns Hopkins University says the number of Americans who've died of the virus now stands at 1,050. And this is USA Radio News.
Hi, this is Wayne Allen Root, and do I have a perfect book at the perfect time for you? Dr. Nancy Wolfe is a conservative and capitalist professor emeritus in the psychology department at UCLA, where she spent 30 years. She studied and taught about the human mind. She knows exactly what we need to hear right now as chaos and crisis descend around us. Her book is Conscious Matrix. Nancy explains why the liberals, socialists, and globalists try to destroy us right now will not and cannot succeed because we as Americans are wired to win, to be the greatest nation and the greatest people ever in the history of mankind. Our biology, our history, our culture, all these things are pre-wired in our minds and souls. We're literally pre-wired to win. Nancy says we have more light in our hearts and minds when we are right with God. And she says together, God, President Trump, and conservative Americans will save the soul of America. We will win. We are literally predestined to win. This is the book you need to read now, today. Purchase Conscious Matrix at LibertyHillPublishing.com. Conscious Matrix at LibertyHillPublishing.com or available at Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
The government just releasing a report on the U.S. economy's performance during last year's fourth quarter. It shows GDP grew at 2.1%. That matches the growth rate for the third quarter of last year. It's also the before part of what the economy looks like before and after the coronavirus pandemic and shutdowns began, as the first quarter of 2020 doesn't end till next week. America's second biggest city is preparing to stay locked down because of the virus for 2 more months. Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti says he doesn't anticipate opening for business anytime soon, so 12 million people could have to stay at home until at least May. Cleanup continues in northeast Mississippi.
Here's your Georgetown forecast from the Hip Radio Network Weather Center. Partly cloudy skies today with daytime highs approaching 88. South winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Overcast tonight, lows level off around 65. Cloudy again tomorrow, daytime highs approaching 87. Turning cooler Saturday and Sunday with highs in the upper 70s. Chance for scattered storms Saturday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently, it's 66 degrees.
Broadcasting worldwide from the Ashby Real Estate Broadcast Studio. This is Hip Radio Network, Georgetown, your hometown station.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The switch is on. Welcome to Good Morning Georgetown with Rob and Ken. Waking you up in the mornings and getting your day started with the hottest hits, news, and jokes. Get ready.
Facebook is probably upset about that, and it keeps ticking in and out. So if you're watching on Facebook, let us know if you're experiencing any issues, because I've noticed it cutting in and out. Our internet here is perfectly fine. But I am joined on the show now by someone that I can now call a good friend, and some folks that I've really enjoyed getting to know here over the past couple of weeks, even though I've known of them for a long time. But our friends over at A-1 Smartphone and Tablet Repair, Amanda Garland and Chris McDonald. Chris not there just yet. Amanda, how you doing this morning? Can you hear us okay?
I can hear y'all. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfect. Yeah, see, we didn't have a chance to test this, and so we just said we're just going to go for it. And I figured, you guys are techie, I'm techie. This will probably just work. And so I'm thankful that it worked through, and so good to have you on the show this morning, Amanda. How's your morning going?
I've been up for about 45 minutes, so it's going.
Well, in the IT world, things are always moving, but the mornings don't start out, with a lot of energy. That's how it was for me for a very long time. Talk about your normal morning routine, how you guys do it.
Well, we wake up and have some coffee and just start the day. We don't generally, we see plenty of people sometimes first thing in the morning, but it's really just waking up and trying to get some coffee in to be able to power through the day, stay up all night and getting repairs done as well.
I think one of the worst things that happened to me was years ago. I was diagnosed with pretty severe acid reflux, and a doctor was like, no more coffee, no more caffeine. And I didn't drink a whole lot to begin with, but I'll tell you, the moment that I discovered coffee and what it does for you, I got pretty excited. And then all right, friends. Well, I don't know what's going on with Facebook this morning. It's because Leo Ortiz was talking about bows. We were joking about, I swear, every time we talk about something like the president, and we got Mandy back on here. Good morning to you, Mandy. We're back live now. I don't know what the deal is. It's every time we say something about President Trump or bows and arrows or weapons, it's like, oh, we're done, and it kicks us. So I guess it blocked us. So you know what we did? Is we said, you know what, Facebook, adios, and we've switched over to YouTube now. So we're back up on YouTube. And, Lee, we got to quit talking about that, man.
Well, I'm just trying to raise awareness. That's all I'm doing.
My goodness. Something about Lee, and it gets mad, and it just kicks us out. So now I've been kicked off by I don't know if that's the case, guys. But anyways, we're back here on YouTube. I tried YouTube. So Facebook has like two different servers, and they have backup servers. I tried every one of those and different keys, and none of them worked. So there you go.
Interesting. So
anyways, we got Mandy back here, Amanda Garling of A-1 Smartphone and Tablet. Good morning to you, man. I'm sorry. We were having so much fun, and then all of a sudden it's like, see you later. So how things going this morning? Let's restart.
I mentioned that my last name is Murphy, so of course Murphy's Law. If you bring me on, what can go wrong will go wrong.
Oh my goodness! Well, we're talking this morning. By the way, if you've been on the Facebook stream, I've posted the link to the YouTube stream. So those of you that are out there listening on the app as well, I've posted it on YouTube. I would love to use YouTube every time. The issue is we get so much more social interaction. There's that, whenever I say words like that, man, it starts coming out like Sean Connery. We get so much social interaction on Facebook, which is why I like to use Facebook. And so, again, if you were listening on Facebook, I've put the link to YouTube. So go join us there. That's where we're at right now. Mandy, tell us a little bit just about your business. I know we started into that. You talked about Georgetown before Facebook decided to kick us off for a minute. Talk to us about how you guys really got into business and the wonderful things that you're doing at A-1 Smartphone and Tablet Repair. You guys are amazing. And Chris is there, by the way. Good morning, Chris.
Morning, Rob.
So we opened business in 2014, saw a need for cell phone and tablet repair. We started off just as cell phone and tablet repair. Chris had done computer repair growing up, even pagers repair growing up and stuff. And so as our business has progressed, we've now gotten into computers and Macs. We do drone repair. You name it, it's just kind of, I tell everybody, before you throw an electronic away, bring it by. There may be something we can do to fix it. It may not need to be just thrown away. So we've had people show up with their sound equipment, just things for their cars and stuff, and we just get to fixing them and stuff. So we do a little bit of everything for your electronics concerning your actual phones and tablets and stuff. We can do from hardware repairs to software repairs, same with your computers, Macs, the whole 9 yards. So yeah, we do micro soldering, water damage restoration.
So talk a little bit more about that micro soldering, because I didn't really understand any of it until I met you guys. And Chris, the stuff that y'all have is unbelievable. I mean, the knowledge that you have in this industry, it really sets you apart from a lot of other folks that do this. Talk to us a little bit more about that micro soldering, because it's pretty incredible, man.
So yeah, we got our first micro soldering set up, I'd say probably about 3.5, 4 years ago. It came after we ended up having to replace a device for a customer. Basically, repair went wrong. I didn't have a clue of how to fix it. It was a brand new iPhone 6S back when they were selling for about, I think $850. And we replaced that device, and me and Mandy sat down and pretty much decided that it'd probably be a wise investment to start actually doing the soldering. So if something does go wrong, we can fix it. We saw a big, kind of a big thing with a lot of repair shops is when they don't know, they just say, oh, it's a board level repair and sorry, you don't owe us anything. Or sometimes some shops would actually charge customers to hand them back a
broken device.
Yeah, broke device. And that's when we started getting into the micro soldering. And of course, micro soldering or soldering in general is just a skill you have to build up. You don't want to be practicing on customers' phones or anything like that. From there, we started doing the level 3 rework, which is basically pulling chips off of boards. You can't get in with a soldering iron on chips and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to use a hot air rework station or a ultraviolet, a UV rework station. And from there, really, we started doing TriStar repairs, chip swaps to recover data, all that good stuff. Well, it's frustrating at sometimes because it's not your standard computer board and stuff like that. We're working with boards that are the size of a Kit Kat bar, you know.
Well, I have no idea how you guys do it, man. You let me kind of look on it. Yeah, and Mandy's showing it there for those of you that are watching now on YouTube. I mean, it's just tiny, tiny stuff. And Chris, you showed me a little bit about how that technology works in the microscope. It's pretty incredible, man.
It is. It's I never thought it was going to get this deep, but there's obviously a need for it. I've had forensics labs call me from Austin. There's a few that we know in other states and stuff like that. And we try to work as a network, almost a community outside of our community.
Well, just talking more here with Chris and Mandy this morning here on Good Morning Georgetown from A-1 Smartphone and Tablet Repair. Appreciate you guys being with us. We're gonna have to go ahead though and we're going to continue this, but we're definitely going to have to schedule y'all again to get it on the on Facebook, and we won't have Lee on talking about arrows next time. I'm just kidding, Lee. But it's because we spoke about it. But we're talking again to Chris and Amanda with A1 Smartphone and Tablet Repair located on Williams Drive. What really helps you guys stand apart? I mean, your service, you know people personally in this community. Mandy, you know, you've been a caregiver. You understand what it's like to help people and give back. What really sets you guys apart and really distinguishes your business?
I would say that the quality of our care, the quality of our repairs, we try to go above and beyond. I try to imagine that when you come in with a broken phone, that's me with my broken phone. And how do I want to treat myself? You know, how do I need to take care of this person that their whole life is falling apart when their phone's broken? You know, and now with the whole COVID thing, that means that people are trying to work from home. They're trying to stay connected of what's going on. What are we supposed to be doing? Are we supposed to be sheltering in place? Are we never supposed to leave our house again? And all these stresses. And if your phone's broken or your computer's broken or anything, that's putting a lot more stress. So when people come in here, I try to comfort them, let them know that they're in good hands, that they're going to be taken care of, that we actually care about them. I am human, so anything can happen, but we do care about everybody, and we're trying to do the best we can. And same with the repairs. You know, we try to do the very best in our repairs, because if it was our phone, if it was our grandmother's phone, you know, we would want her to be connected to the outside world and stuff. So honestly, I just think what does separate us is that we go above and beyond. We try to care about everybody like they're our own family. You know, it's us, it's our family. And that's what Georgetown is. We are a big family, you know, here, from all of our neighbors and everything like that. And so I just look at it, everybody's my family, so I'm going to take care of them all the right way.
Love that. And so that means if you want to have if you're hungry, go by and see them. They're going to barbecue for you, pizza. No, I'm just kidding, guys. But you probably would, though, honestly. I mean, I know.
Yes, I tell some of our customers, you know, I'm like, if you need help changing a light bulb, because some of our customers are older and stuff, I'm like, we're here. I will come to your house and change a light bulb for you.
But the core of the business, you know, of course, is taken care of. Go ahead, Lee.
So what do you tell customers who don't want to spend $1,000 on a new iPhone or new Android if they can bring in their equipment or their phones? Like, for example, I've got an Android S7 and it's starting to slow down, and my wife's the same thing. But I was just kind of wondering, do you guys are you able to upgrade that to increase the speed for it to work better, or you just tell them just go get a new phone. I mean, I don't see where the break point is to actually repairing to purchasing a new one.
So purchasing a new one, like you said, it's going to cost, possibly $1,000. Most repairs don't cost anything close to that amount. And so generally with an older phone, what happens after a phone's about 2 to 3 years, you start seeing them slow down because of batteries. That is the most common culprit, as well as storage
and software.
Yeah.
You could deal with a software glitch a lot of times, especially the Samsungs. We just recommend doing a backup and wipe every couple years, really. The system starts getting lagged down. Of course, you install stuff, you uninstall it when you decide you don't want it. It starts clogging up the system, and it will slow stuff down. For the most part, generally backing up, wiping everything, and putting a fresh operating system, very similar to computer systems, is generally a real good fix. If it slows back down when we reinstall your software, the backup, at that point we know that, hey, you have something that's really hogging up processes on this. So at that point, we'll help you kind of weed through and figure out what exactly is clogging up the system, needs to be eliminated. And a lot of times it's a malicious app. The flashlight apps are bad. They found out that actually they were made by some Chinese and Russian firms. And that's why you noticed a lot of the phone manufacturers started integrating the flashlight into the actual software. That way, nobody's there stealing your data. Right now, they're saying that the data analytics just on us is the new gold rush. So all these companies are trying to capture as much information about what we do on a day-to-day basis.
And you mean we as the world?
Yeah, the world. Yeah. Yes. Collectively, we.
So, Chris, talk a little bit about your background, man. You've become just an amazing expert at this technology and replacing, chips that are half the size of my pinky now. Kind of talk about your background and how you got all into this, man, because the knowledge you have, like I said earlier, is just simply amazing. When I came into y'all's store, it blew my mind, man. I was like, this is unbelievable.
Thank you.
So, my dad owned a answering and paging company in El Paso, actually, through the 80s and early 90s. One day I was annoying him at work. He's like, come here, brings me into the tech room, hands me a box of bad pager boards with all the components on them. He's like, okay, this is a crystal, starts breaking it all down, what I need to do, and had me stripping good parts from there. That's my first introduction really to soldering. The first pager I worked on was the old Motorola BPR 3000s, the ones that just had a speaker in them before they actually went digital. From there, didn't do a whole lot of tech work for my dad besides for stripping and rebuilding these pagers. From there, started building computers. The first computer I built was a 486. I think it was 92, 93, right around that time frame. From there, didn't have much of a background. I was always pulling stuff apart. Then around 2000, I went to school for integrated circuit layout and design. Didn't follow through with all that, but that gave me a good cornerstone for really what's happening here now. Even when me and Mandy first met, I was pulling apart pieces of equipment, replacing displays, always fixing something. I'm always trying to tinker with stuff. And it doesn't even have to be electronics. If it's mechanical, I'll even tinker with it. So I've always had that kind of mindset of being able to pull stuff apart and then put it back together.
Did you ever have a problem like me? I don't know if you were listening earlier, where I was an electronics hoarder and I just was emotionally attached to every little chip that I never wanted to get rid of anything.
Our entire house is that way.
I have a little mason jar with those little chips that are about half the size of your pinky. And it'll probably never be used, but it's just one of those things. I'm like, there's precious metals in those. I have a hard time just saying, yeah, it's garbage.
But like you said, we have boxes of cords from everything. But then just yesterday, a customer came over and said he needed a special cord for a nebulizer. Someone's having trouble breathing. We went through all of our boxes of cords looking to see if we have that cord. You know, you never know what you have, and that's why you hoard it all.
Well, we're talking this morning to Amanda Murphy and Chris McDonald of A-1 Smartphone and Tablet Repair. We're going to step aside just for a quick moment. I'm actually going to play y'all's commercial because I think it's awesome, and then we'll be right back as we continue. Want to welcome everybody in that's joining us on the YouTube live stream, and we will continue here. We'll be right back. This is Good Morning Georgetown on Hip Radio Network. Stay with us. We'll be right back here in just a moment.
Hey, what's up? This is Chris.
Hey, y'all, this is Amanda. And together we are A1 Smartphone and Tablet Repair.
Together, now there's a word.
Christopher.
No, it's a great thing to be together. We're able to reach Georgetown and surrounding communities as your one-stop electronics repair shop.
A1 Smartphone and Tablet Repair has been invested in the community since 2014.
We repair your electronic devices, including smartphones, tablets, computers,
microsoldering, data recovery, drones, and sound equipment.
Hey, don't forget about broken screens.
We're A1 Smartphone and Tablet Repair in Georgetown. Visit us online at a1phonerepairs.com.
Here's your Georgetown forecast from the Hip Radio Network Weather Center. Partly cloudy skies today with daytime highs approaching 88. South winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Overcast tonight, lows level off around 65. Cloudy again tomorrow, daytime highs approaching 87. Turning cooler Saturday and Sunday with highs in the upper 70s. Chance for scattered storms Saturday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently, it's 66 degrees.
Broadcasting worldwide from the Ashby Real Estate Broadcast Studio. This is Hip Radio Network, Georgetown, your hometown station.
Well, good morning, Georgetown. Thanks for waking up with us. Time now 8:37 a.m. here on KHGT-DB. It's Hip Radio Network, Georgetown, your hometown station. We've got our special guest here on the show this morning, one of our sponsors, but an amazing couple, and they're doing amazing things in here in Georgetown with A1 Smartphone and Tablet Repair. Again, it is Mandy Murphy alongside Chris McDonald. Appreciate you guys being here this morning. And, man, I'm just bummed out. I'm still bummed about the Facebook issue, but we've at least got it going on YouTube. And so I told you guys we're going to definitely have to have y'all back on now again on once Facebook fixes their issues.
Most definitely.
We'll talk a little bit more. You know, you guys not only repairing iPhones and Apple products and screens. Chris, I wanted to ask you something really cool that I didn't even have any clue that you were able to do. And what that is you have a way of repairing glass or something like that. I mean, it was, when you showed it to me, I was like, this is incredible. Talk a little bit more about what that is and just how you can resurface glass and those kind of things.
Well, it's not exactly resurfacing the glass itself. Once the glass is broke, we've seen a lot of stuff out there like the windshield repair kits that people are like, well, I can get that for $5. Don't do that. You're going to destroy your device. It's not going to work, and it's not going to end well. A lot of this stuff, especially the newer devices, do require specialized equipment. Bottom line, you wouldn't jump into mechanics and expect that, your standard toolkit from AutoZone is going to work. When it gets down to it, we can actually, on edge glass and all the flat surface glass, including the iPads and stuff like that, the newer iPads where they've been quoted out, if you've ever dealt with one of those, the repair cost went way through the roof. And that's because, especially with the iPads, they're bonding the screens on these newer ones, which means you have to run it through a pretty intensive process. One of the processes is freezing it down to anywhere between 135 to negative 165 Celsius.
Wow.
At that point, we are crystallizing the glue and we can pull off the glass. It leaves all the glue on the actual display. So at that point, you have to actually clean that off, which is its own process, and then re-adhere it through a lamination process. Generally, there'll be a couple bubbles left over, and then the final process would be dropping it into what the Chinese call a autoclave. All it is a pressure chamber for the most part. That'll push all the bubbles out. It's a very interesting process. It's a delicate process. That's one thing we try to explain to people is, yes, there's a difference between a shop that's offering 30-minute repairs as opposed to us where a person says they want an original screen. We're putting an original screen. We're pretty much making that screen to order. If their screen's damaged, we buy a original screens from the other repair shops
that have been broken,
taken
off of somebody's phone, and then we refurbish it to keep you having an original screen.
Correct.
Wow. Okay. Well, it's just it's really cool because what you guys do is extremely technical. But whenever you're there and talking, I know right now on the show, some people say, "Man, that sounds so technical." But whenever you guys are interacting with people, one-on-one, you make it clear as day what's going on. I wanted to reach back out to Lee. Lee, some pretty amazing stuff we're hearing this morning, man.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, just that micro technology stuff is amazing. I know I see a lot of it in my industry with some of the inverter technologies and compressors. So it's everywhere now.
Well, as we continue to talk to Amanda Murphy here and Chris McDonald of A-1 Smartphone and Tablet Repair, you guys have also now branched out doing some computer repair. Talk a little bit about that. And your proximity to Sun City makes your business extremely lucrative to a neighborhood out there that needs your services.
Yes, very much so. There's a lot of companies that want to service businesses and things like that, but everybody kind of forgets about the residentials. And so Sun City, there's a lot of people out there that need help just setting up their computers, getting their printers talking, their internet talking and stuff like that. And Suddenlink, we use Suddenlink. We're fine with Suddenlink. We love Suddenlink just fine. But sometimes getting some assistance from them. And so Chris has gone over to some people's houses just to help them get their internet set up, get their smartphone and their smart TV and all, Alexa and all of those things communicating with each other where, the internet company's there to get you your internet and then we'll go on, And so we're now expanding out into being able to do computers and helping people with
MSP is what we're rolling out. I think me and you talked about it a little bit when you were here the other day, Rob. And when another company left here, they sold out to a company that moved them to Round Rock. They left a vacuum really in Georgetown, and we started seeing a lot of people actually mistaking us for that other company. And because we're 2 doors down from them, or where they were. And once that was all said and done, we kind of sat back and we were like, this is something we can do. I worked on computers personally, built gaming rigs for friends, stuff like that. But I never really thought that opening the cell phone repair shop would actually morph into also computer repair. And kind of like Amanda said, I mean, I've had people bring me over ABS modules out of cars and say they've already done the diagnostics. They know it's inside the module. And once they tell me that, I'm like, okay, let me look at the module, and we got it fixed. It was something that a shop was quoting out $1,400 to do. And in the end, I turned around and only charged $100 for the work that I did.
Wow.
And then the shop itself, I think, was able to discount it down close to $1,000,
And see, that kind of goes back to Lee a while ago. You were saying, is the repair, is it going to cost more than getting a new device? And I think with these guys, in a lot of cases at A1, no, it won't. It's cheaper to get the repair done.
Yeah. And we try to even make sure if it's not cost effective, then I'm sitting there with you trying to help you find a new phone. Okay, you're going to have to replace this. Let's see what your best deal is. Don't just go and buy the first thing you see. Let's do some shopping together and everything like that if it's not cost effective to do the repair and stuff.
And we also generally operate based off of a no fix, no fee schedule. The only exemption to that is water damage.
Yeah.
You bring a water damaged device in, there is going to be a fee. The chemicals are expensive. It is very in-depth as far as labor. I can spend 2 to 3 hours on a device and end up with nothing, which I'm okay with that because it balances out. When a customer is like, really, you worked 3 hours on it and I don't owe you anything? Don't worry about it. That's what makes us strive to be better at what we do.
That's awesome. Well, as we continue here again talking to Chris McDonald, Amanda Murphy of A-1 Smartphone and Tablet Repair, wanted to ask, some questions. One of them, and for you guys to talk about this morning, how are you staying open right now during this COVID-19 pandemic? Of course, it's been tough for a lot of businesses. How are you guys faring in your business, specifically here in Georgetown? How are you dealing with this pandemic right now?
It is very stressful for sure. We are an essential business. You do need your devices up and running to be able to, like I said, stay in communication and everything like that. We've shortened our hours to also limit our exposure to anything. So we're open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 4 right now. I'm meeting everybody on the front porch. We've got a little table set up. I've got gloves out there. I've got hand sanitizer. I have a container of alcohol. If we can get some masks, I will be happy to wear masks as well, but they have been on shortage and our first responders need those first and foremost. But we're doing everything we can to keep everybody protected as well. I'm sterilizing everybody's devices. I'm keeping people, let's all stand 6 feet apart. If you see someone's already on my front porch, stay in your car for just a moment. Let's finish up with them before you get out. Let's, limit interaction as best that we can and sterilize everything before it comes into my house, while we're doing the repairs, and then before I hand anything back to people. I put on new gloves. I sterilize everything all over again. I set it down so that they're the ones picking it up. We're trying to limit everything to keep everybody safe. This is a very scary time, but we want to stay open to take care of everybody as well. We had the option. We can totally shut down and play Monopoly and Clue all day long and drink margaritas like everybody else, or we can stay open and, try to do what we can to take care of everybody. So like I said, we're open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 4. We're meeting on the front porch. If people want to come with, their own gloves and things like that, I completely understand. We've had some people that have showed up with their own gloves already on, and that's awesome to see as well, because I know that they're trying to take care of themselves. I've had some people call me and let me know that they're, immune compromised and that they're going to have their grandchild get out of the car and stuff like that. And as always, this has always been my policy. If you cannot get out of your car and come in, then you just let me know and I come to you. That has been our policy from day one. We service so many different people, and in Georgetown, there is a wide range of customers and everything like that. And there's plenty of times people can't get out of their car, and I don't want you to get out of your car. I will come to you and everything. So that's what we're doing. That's how we're staying open. Those are our hours and everything. And like I said, just meeting on the front porch. And if people need appointments after 10 to 4, we can totally do that. Because I know not everybody is off between those hours. So we're still here to service all of our clients like we always had. And if someone doesn't get off of work till 6:30, then we schedule an appointment at that point. I'm here for our community and everything like that.
Well, one thing that I'm kind of bummed about is we normally, whenever I have hosts or guests in our studio, I'm normally able to take a selfie with them. And I can't do that because you guys aren't here with me. So if you don't mind, I've actually got my phone right now. I put it on the video to see both of us here on the screen, and we're going to do something a little fun here. If we'll just give each other a thumbs up or however you guys want to do it, and I'll give you guys a little selfie here. How does that work?
That works.
All right, let me take a couple here. There we go. Oh, hold on. We got to get Lee in on this as well. Hold on, Lee. I haven't forgot about you, buddy. Poor Lee. Doggone it. I'm just kidding. All right, here we go, Lee. Get ready. We're all going to do a little thumbs up. We're all going to get through this together. On the count of 3, guys, here we go. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. That we'll see how that's going to be fun, man. So, well, I wanted to ask you guys a couple more questions. We continue the conversation here with Chris McDonald and Amanda Murphy over at A-1 Smartphone and Tablet Repair. You guys are able to do remote support right now. Talk a little bit about that during this time.
So that was something that we were not going to be announcing just yet. We had all kinds of plans that we were going to roll out all kinds of new stuff in April, and I was going to make all these announcements. With what's going on, things change. So with COVID and everything, we've decided we need to go ahead and roll out the remote administration now. Don't need to wait a few more days or anything like that. We need to get it moving. We're still in training on it. It is something that like I said, it was just going to be a new April thing that we were going to be rolling out and starting to tell people about it. So we are still in training on the remote administration, and Chris can actually explain that a lot better. But yes, it is something where we will be able to, if you're having problems and we can't come to your house and you're trying to work from home, we can get into your system and help you figure out things and straighten out stuff. And I'll let Chris explain it a lot better.
Yeah.
So yeah, with the managed service provider, we were trying to roll it out and be trained by now, but of course we had issues on our side with having COVID going on, and then I just got reached out to by our trainer, and he sprained his ankle. So luckily it's not COVID related, but now we're set out, another week to sit down and have the training done and all that. What it is it's a cloud-based service provider. So I would send over an email that basically has a link to a packet. You install this packet, and depending on what you chose to go with from a service with us, there's just a standard remoting in that gives you access to the computer. Now, of course, it's one of those things you can set it up to, where the end person that's actually having the services provided for them knows that we're there. It's not something that's just going to allow me wide open access to your computer.
You have to grant us access every time to get into your computer.
I am coming into your computer now. It doesn't work like that.
And then on top of that, there's different levels of, we can add, cloud-based monitoring, where basically if you're having networking issues with all the Internet of Things, the Alexas, all this stuff going on, our houses are now getting to the point where they're automated, and it'll allow me to actually monitor not necessarily traffic on the network, but for errors on the network. So you can actually stay ahead of the curve. And from a service provider standpoint, before the customer calls saying that their printer's having issues, the system's already letting me know of that issue on a day-to-day basis, that, hey, this printer keeps having a conflicting IP address, so that's why it's not sending stuff. And then you can run remote scripts and stuff like that, send scripts over to the computer to actually have it auto-configure the IP, all that good stuff. From there, there's also the antivirus. For most people, Windows Defender on these new Windows 10 systems should work depending on what kind of websites you're going to, but there is added protection that can be stacked on top of the service provider package and all that.
Well, as we're continuing to talk here to Chris McDonald and Amanda Murphy of A-1 Smartphone and Tablet Repair, one of our sponsors here on HRN, but also a couple that is very engaged in our Georgetown community. They do such wonderful work. I wanted to mention this, and this is kind of the last little question here. You had mentioned something about donations for first responders and medical personnel. Can you explain on that a little bit more, Amanda, this morning?
Most definitely. So we had seen a post from the Georgetown Fire Department, and we've heard about everybody needing masks and gloves and everything like that. And so we are trying to help. We've joined forces with Help Crisis Assistance, Julie Hobbs, and we're trying to, if you have gloves, mask, anything like that that our first responders can use, you are more than welcome to come donate them here. We will get them to the appropriate people that need them. If you want to donate directly, if you have the financial funds to be able to donate, Help Crisis Assistant is on Facebook. They're online and everything. You can donate directly to them. Julie is using that funds to be able to get the things that are needed. I saw just last night a new post from her saying that they're in need of diapers, adult diapers, children diapers. They need formula. They need baby food. Mm-hmm. There's so many things right now that are needed. And so if people want to use us as a donation drop-off place, we will make sure everything gets to where it is. We, as a business, we're trying to find a few other businesses that would want to pitch in to see if we can order a large order of gloves and masks like that to be able to just donate to the first responders, to our hospitals. Anybody that needs these items, we're in such a short supply of these items and stuff. And so if anybody wants to help, do donations and everything like that, we can be a drop-off point. Like I said, Help Crisis Assistance. Julie's set this up to be able to help people in a crisis. And right now, COVID is a crisis for many people. So it's a beautiful thing. If anybody wants to donate or anything like that, know that everything that you're donating is going to the appropriate people that it needs to go to and stuff. So we're just looking for gloves and masks and everything like that, if anybody has any extras.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it.
Let me, I can purchase latex gloves through some of my vendors. I can reach out to them and see if they can help us out. And if they have any in stock, I know they were getting low because in our industry, we're trying to be just as cautious like everybody else, wear gloves and stuff, but they usually get shipments in pretty often. So I can reach out to them and see if they can help out.
That would be great. Yeah, that is exactly what we're trying to do. Is each one of us has a vendor that we use for certain things, and that's the same thing as us. My brother owns a Caring Group down in Austin, not to be confused with the Caring Place in Georgetown, but Caring Group in Austin. They supply medical equipment from walkers, wheelchairs, you name it. So he's who we normally buy all of our gloves from. And I contacted him. I was like, we need gloves, we need masks, and he's like, I can get
one or two boxes.
Yeah, he's like, it's such a shortage right now. So yes, that's what I'm asking for, is if anybody knows, hey, yeah, I get gloves from this guy, let me call him and see what they have. It's got to be
you said your brother owns one
together.
You said the one in Austin, not Georgetown. Your brother.
So there's a Caring Place in Georgetown, which supplies food and stuff like that to people in need. My brother's, his business is called the Caring Group, and it's KERRING. And they provide, like I said, medical equipment. So people, can purchase walkers and wheelchairs and everything like that, as well as, stair equipment to be able to move up and down your stairs and stuff like that. So he supplies us with our gloves usually and our mask. And so, yeah, he's just on a shortage though now himself, trying to make sure all of his clients have masks and gloves and everything like that, while they're hopefully staying at home. But I know so many people are still getting out there on the roads.
Well, again, I appreciate Chris and Mandy being here with us this morning. Just wanted to give you one final opportunity to talk a little bit more about your business and how people can get in touch with you.
Okay, so A-1 Smartphone and Tablet Repair. We're located at 4124 Williams Drive. It's half a mile between Serenata Drive and DB Woods Drive. We're across the street from the Live Oak Apartment Complex. It's a 2-story house. We are still open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 4, doing business on the front porch. We can do appointments after hours and everything like that as well. Phone number is 512-937-2355. Our email address is amanda@a1phonerepairs.com, and our website is www.a1phonerepairs.com.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you got one thing I love about y'all is just Amanda, you're always laughing and having a good time. Chris is always laughing, having a good time, and it's so contagious what you guys put out to people. And I think Georgetown, really, really enjoys you guys and what you do, and we're honored, and I'm personally honored to have you as a sponsor here on HRN. And again, we're going to have to do this again once Facebook gets their stuff finished. And Lee, we won't talk about arrows next time.
I'm going to put up a picture of Winnie the Pooh behind me.
Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, that's about where we're at right now. So, well, Amanda and Chris, just any final words that you'd like to say to the Georgetown community right now also before we let you go.
Stay healthy, stay safe, everybody. Stay at home if you don't have to get out. This is a crazy time for sure. God bless everybody. I don't know. Let's just all stay healthy and stay safe together. Help out your neighbors, help out each other. Don't forget your neighbor next door is in need as well. So don't hoard anything, everybody.
Well, Chris, thanks for being here as well, man. I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome, and looking forward to chatting with you again very soon. And thanks for getting up this morning. I know it's early when you're in the IT business because I was in it as well. I know exactly what that's like because there was nights to where I didn't go to bed until like 4 and 5 in the morning. And so
we have many of those nights.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. Y'all stay safe, and thanks for all you do for the community.
Thank you. Y'all too.
Well, once again, that was Chris and Mandy from A-1 Smartphone and Tablet Repair. Really appreciate them being on our show this morning. Despite the Facebook technical issues, we were still able to get them on, and a lot of folks were still joining us through the app as well. So just reminding you that you can always download that app at HIP Radio Network. All you got to do is just go to HIP Radio Network, and you can easily join that. Still joined on the phone by Lee Ortiz of Climate Control Pros. He is our guest host, or our co-host every Friday here on HIP Radio Network Georgetown. And Lee, pretty awesome program today, man. I just a little bit bummed that we had some of those glitches there with Facebook, but other than that, man, it's just been a fun morning, and hopefully being able to get some more information out to the community.
Always a good time hanging out with you on Friday mornings, Rob. And I'm definitely going to be reaching out to Amanda and Chris. I mean, they have some great ideas with helping out the community, and I think that's what we need to do is those that can help, please do.
Well, if you're not too busy tonight, I know you stay pretty busy, Lee, but don't forget we're having the HRN virtual dance party tonight from 7 to 8. And so, clear out your living room, get your kids. We're going to have a lot of fun as we'll be playing some dance music from the requests that are coming in. We've already had several more of those requests. Go to hrngeorgetown.com/request to request your music. If you're a business in the community that needs help, let us know what your needs are. We want to help in any way that we can. We're providing a platform. We're already thinking about doing an online auction to help your business. All you have to do is visit hrngeorgetown.com/support. That is if you're a small business owner in Georgetown or even smaller surrounding communities such as Andice, Weir, Wahlberg, Bartlett, Thorndale, Thrall, Jarrell, all of those areas that are smaller and including Georgetown. We want to help you. Visit hrngeorgetown.com/support. Lee, any final comments from you, man? It's 9 a.m. before we let you go, partner.
No, Georgetown, just stay safe. Again, I just love Michelle Webb. Just be kind to each other. And take care of each other. And at the end of the day, we're all in this together.
Awesome. Well, Lee, thanks for being here. Can't wait to have you back on next Friday as well. And everything will be rocking and rolling. And hopefully we'll have some better news as far as this COVID-19 pandemic goes. But stay safe out there, Lee. I appreciate you, brother. God bless you. And we will chat with you again soon.
Sounds good.
Once again, as Lee Ortiz joining us here on Good Morning Georgetown. And friends, as always, appreciate you being part of this program every morning, weekdays, Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. As we continue Good Morning Georgetown, we'll be back on the air on Monday. I wish everybody a very pleasant Friday. Again, stay safe out there. Do your part in helping to take care of others that are really struggling right now, and we're going to continue to provide that platform. Friends, as I remind you on every broadcast, we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We need each other. Provide a word of encouragement. Lend a hand of support. Somebody out there today needs you. God bless you, Georgetown. Good morning, and we'll see you back on Monday right here on Hip Radio Network. Also, make sure to join us tonight from 7 to 8. It's the HRN Virtual Dance Party. Until then, have a good day, everyone. We'll talk to you later.